folks, welcome to another training session on ACS Facility Scheduler. My name is Perry Moses. I am Director of Operations for Alice Drive Baptist Church in Sumter, South Carolina. I want to welcome you today. What I'm going to go over is just a very quick and simple entry of an event in Facility Scheduler. It's going to be a very basic, simple event, how to get it into the system and get it on the calendar. So let's get started. Get your Facility Scheduler open. And we want to begin with a date. What date do we want to have our event? I am going to add an event for next Sunday afternoon. Next Sunday is May the 7th, so you want to navigate to your calendar on May the 7th. If you don't know how to find your way around in Facility Scheduler, please view my previous lesson. It covers everything you need to know about looking around the calendar, the application itself, and different events within the calendar. So we have gone to the date we want to have on our event, and we're going to look on that date in that time frame to figure out, is it a good time for our event, what else is going on, and what rooms are available. So I'm going to pretend that I want a Sunday afternoon Bible study, and I want it to run from 5 to 6 p.m. Sunday, May the 7th. So I am looking at Sunday, May the 7th, the 5 to 6 p.m. time frame. I'm going to see what other events are going on and what spaces they're using. And I'm going to take all of that into consideration, as well as the room that I want to use, and see, does it work? And for this particular event, this Bible study, I know that our room 201 is the perfect place to have it, and it's set up just the way I want to use it. So it's going to be a real easy booking for our first booking, and it will work in this 5 o'clock time set. So let's add it. If you look at the top of Facility Scheduler, you have an Add Event button here. I'm going to click that. And for our purposes today, we're going to just be adding Facility Use Events. So I'm going to select Facility Use. That will bring up the Add Event dialog box, and we're going to fill out most of the information within this box and some boxes related to it. The first thing you want to start with is the name of your event. I'm just going to put Bible Study. This name should be pretty descriptive of what your event is. This name will show on the public calendar for the church, including our Church Life app. Down here you have an event description. This should be the description that the public will see of the event. What is it? Why should you come? What is attractional to this event? So spend a little time thinking of a good event description, and make sure that gives some people some incentive to come to your event. Alright, so we have our name, we have our description. We're going to place it on the appropriate calendar. All events need to be on the operations calendar, but the operations calendar does not need to be the primary calendar. For instance, if this Bible study was a student ministry Bible study, we could choose student ministry's calendar as the primary calendar. That'll make it show up on the calendar with the student ministry color. It can be filtered by student ministry. So use those for your different ministries, but make sure that not only do you choose your calendar here, but you add under multiple calendars. I'm going to click that. You add any other calendar that is relative to your event. All events need to be on the operations calendar. If you would like the communications department to advertise your event, you can put it on their calendar. You will need to get with them about the advertising of it, but that gets it on their calendar as well. And any other calendars that are affected. I'm going to say OK. I've chosen those two, and you'll see we now have additional calendars, communications, and operations. Your status, you're going to leave that alone, leave that pending, and once operations has had a chance to review your event, they will come here and confirm it. While we're here, if you ever need to cancel an event, you come open your event up, edit it, and mark it canceled. Didn't mean to click on that. We do not use primary images here at Alice Drive. If your church does, feel free to add an image to your event. The publish checkbox is real important. Any event that needs to show up on the church's web calendar, church life calendar, please check that box that says that this event is for public viewing. It's not a internal only event. So make sure you're checking that box if it's something that needs to be on the public calendar. Next, we have our start time and end time. We're going to choose the date the event occurs, the date the event ends, the time it occurs, the time it ends. So it's on the 7th, and it is going to begin, and I just clicked the 11 here, and that highlighted it. I'm going to type 05. I'm going to click on the 30, and I'm going to type 00 p.m. Alright, then I'm going to change this back. It's going to end on the same day, so 5/7, and it's going to end at 6 p.m. You can also change these times by clicking the number and hitting the increment or decrement buttons to get that to the time frame you want. You'll see I now have it set for 5 to 6 p.m. on this day. If it's an event that goes all day long or across multiple days, you can check the all day box and it'll just give you dates and not times. Next are the setup time and teardown times. Alice Drive doesn't really use these. They can be used to basically mark a resource as in use during the additional times you add here. The first box is hours, this is minutes. And you can say, I need to keep the room booked for an extra hour ahead of time for setup. What I typically like to see is if it's a major event that you're going to be doing a lot of decorating, let's say it's a banquet and you're going to decorate, go ahead and book a separate event for the decorating piece and give me the details about decorating, and that'll block out that resource during the decorating phase and setup phase, and that leaves the public event as a separate event with its own details, and that will work out much better for us to be able to see what spaces are being used at what times. And lastly, in the top section, we're going to pick our primary location. This is the primary space that is going to be used for your event. I mentioned earlier 201 is perfect for this one, so I need to click this little button with the 3 dots and choose that resource. So there's a couple of ways to choose a resource here. The first suggestion I would make is that you check the include booked resources box down here. That will make all the resources show whether they're in use or not, and you're going to use the status column to determine if that resource is free or not. Now, one way you could find your resources, just scroll through all of them. I'll kind of show you. You can see here's resources that are in use during that date and time. If they don't have a green check mark, something is going on. They're either in use or partially booked. So watch that status. You'll also notice under category here, these are different booking categories, including spaces and locations. So if you're booking the worship center, make sure you're booking it in the right building, not don't book the main worship center if you mean the school's worship center. So watch that. Anyway, this is a lot to scroll through, so if you got a pretty good idea of the space, what it's called, in this particular case it's a room number, just go to this box right below the column heading. You can start typing 2O and you'll see what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and hit 1, and it brings up all the resources that have the letters or numbers you've typed in. And here you can see is 201. We're going to click it and say OK. We have now put 201 as our primary location. We're going to go to the next button up here. So this was all under the event. We're going to go to bookings. We're going to book any additional resources that the 201 meeting needs. So my Bible study is going to be in 201. And just to show you how to add and remove resources, we're using these two buttons up top. I'm going to click add resource. And let's say we need to use the TV that is in 201. So here we have all of our TVs. And I'm going to scroll down and find the one that is in 201. Make sure it's available. And I'm going to add that. So here we've added a TV. We could add additional space if needed, additional rooms, anything of that sort. Get all your resources booked here and make sure your primary location is the main place you want people to show up to. And same way you added resources, you can click a particular resource and click remove and it'll take that resource away. However, you cannot remove your primary resource. You need to come here, click this, and take away that primary resource first before you can remove it anywhere else. Alright, we don't use the attachments. We're going to go to notes. Now, notes are very important. A lot of times people can kind of confuse notes and event description. Remember that the event description is a description of the event for public viewing. Notes is the point of contact, the setup that you need, any directions for operations or tech. This is a place you describe your event so that we can kind of visualize what it is you're trying to do and help you make that event a success. The event we're booking at the moment is the simplest kind of event, which is one that really doesn't need any setup. So we're going to start with the very first thing is the point of contact. Who is the person, if we have any questions about this event, that we need to contact? So list that person and list some contact details. I would suggest you do something like their cell number and their email address up there. Since this is a room that is normally set up the way we want to use it, we're just going to say no setup required. That means you'll basically use the room as you find it, and you will leave the room as you found it. And if you had any additional things you needed, let's say for some reason you were going to bring in some catered food for this, so you had some bulk trash you needed to get rid of, you could put something here like large trash can needed, any little necessities like that, or a resource that's not a bookable resource, you can put it there. This is a good place to put information that helps us to set up your event to be successful. And it's hard to put too much information here. I'd rather you tell me more than I need to know than to not have information that will help us. Alright, so that's notes. We'll cover things like recurrences up here in another lesson. We just did multiple calendars. Set event type is actually what we did when we added the event. We chose facility use. I'll talk a little bit about enable registrations in another lesson. But let's just say for right now we've put in our event details, our event description, we've booked our resources, we've typed in our notes. We are now going to click save and close, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what that has done. So here you see our event. It is this color because this color, remember when I chose what ministry this belonged to, I told it student ministry. Over here you can see the student ministry's color is green. Okay, so that's why that's showing up that color. It has this little cross-hatched icon, and if I click legend up here, this tells you what all those little icons are, and you can see that's the pending icon. So we've got it on the calendar, it's in a pending state. I'm going to roll over to the dashboard to show you that that item will now appear as an action item on the dashboard. Here it is right here. These are items that have not been confirmed and approved yet. So it's a good section of Facility Scheduler to keep your eye on. If you see your events are sitting there for a long time, open them up and see if you see any conflicts, or if there are any notes added in, questions that are being asked. You don't want your event sitting in a pending state for a long period of time. Once it's set and ready to go, we want to get them. I want to mark them confirmed as soon as I possibly can, and get them permanently on the calendar ready to go. The other thing that occurred when we created this event and we saved it was an email was generated, and it was sent to operations to know that a new event was put on the calendar, and it was sent to any emails associated with resources that you booked. So if you book a technical resource that one of our tech department people are tied to, it would shoot an email over to them so they would know, hey, you're going to be needed for this event. Once that event comes across, I'll review it, and if it's good, I'll open it up, and I will go ahead and mark it confirmed, which I'll go ahead and do now so you can see how that works. I'll click Save and Close to save my changes. That little pending icon has now gone away. Just switched to what's called the published icon, so this is a published event. It has dropped off of the action items, and it is now visible because we published it on the website, the ACS Church Life app. We are pretty much done with this event on the calendar. So my next lesson, what I'm going to do is cover some more complex events that need specific setups, more resources, events that are what they call recurring, meaning they happen on more than one occasion, how to choose the different recurrences or repeats of the event. I'll really kind of dive in more detail, but this will give you enough information to put your first kind of simple basic event on the calendar. I hope you enjoyed this event. Please like, comment, and tune in for the next. Have a great day.